Andy Williams was born Howard Andrew Williams on December 3, 1927 in Wall Lake, Iowa. As a child, Williams performed in a church choir led by his father with his brothers Bob, Dick, and Don.
I was born in 1927, right in the end of the Depression, and so we were poor, like everybody was poor, and we didn't know it. We thought we were just fine. As long as we had something to eat, we were fine.
They formed the Williams Brothers Quartet in the late 1930s. By the early 40s, the family had moved to Los Angeles in hopes that the boys could break into Hollywood.
And my father's dream was that his boys were going to be on the radio and become stars.
The quartet soon caught the ear of crooner Bing Crosby, then America's biggest-selling singer, who picked them as the backing group for his 1944 hit, Swinging on a Star, which went on to win an Oscar for Best Original Song. After World War II, the brothers teamed up with comedian Kay Thompson, and, despite an 18-year age gap, the 22-year-old Williams and Thompson began a long affair.
Come on, and you all go to town way down. New Orleans, Louisiana still.
In 1952, Williams launched his solo career and moved to New York.
So I struggled like crazy for about 3 years. Nobody knew who the hell I was, and it was very difficult. And I bombed everywhere I went.
Regular spots on Steve Allen's Tonight Show, engineered for him by Thompson, finally gave him hits. First, as a rock and roller, shaking his hips like Elvis Presley. In fact, Williams' biggest hit single, and his only number one, was Butterfly, a 1957 number for which he was instructed to imitate Presley.
Mine to tell you goodbye, but I'm no good without you, you butterfly.
After a string of hits, including the Hawaiian Wedding Song, Williams moved back to Los Angeles and signed the biggest recording contract of the time with Columbia Records.
Than forever, promise me that you will leave me now.
Williams' first album with Columbia, Danny Boy and Other Songs I Love to Sing, was a chart success, peaking at number 19. In 1960, Williams met French-born showgirl Claudine Longet, whom he married the following year. In 1962, Williams sang Moon River, the theme from Breakfast at Tiffany's, at the Academy Awards, where it won Best Original Song, edging out Gene Pitney's A Town Without Pity.
Moon River, wider than a mile, I'm crossing.
Producers at Columbia encouraged Williams to record the song along with 11 other movie themes for an album. After Williams performed the song at the awards show, it became a hit. Moon River and other great movie themes then sold across the country, garnering critical acclaim and propelling Williams to stardom. Williams leveraged his popularity to debut his own TV variety series, The Andy Williams Show, which would last until 1971 and win 3 Emmy Awards.
I first started as a replacement for Pat Boone in the summer. And then the next year, I was asked to replace Gary Moore. We got such great reviews, terrific success.
You've been in the Magic Forest before.
In 1963, Williams' producer, Robert Mercy, encouraged him to record Can't Get Used to Losing You as the B-side to Days of Wine and Roses.
Can't get used to losing you no matter what I try to do.
The album containing both songs, Days of Wine and Roses, and other TV requests, topped the album charts at number 1 for 16 weeks. From 1962 to 1972, Williams became one of the most popular vocalists in the country. By 1973, he had earned as many as 17 Gold Album Awards. Williams began performing in Las Vegas in 1966 as a headliner at the opening of Caesar's Palace and continued to do shows there for 2 decades. He became known as the Emperor of Smooth. When Robert Kennedy, brother of the murdered President John F. Kennedy, was campaigning for the nomination for the White House in 1968, Andy and Claudine were among his closest supporters. At the Ambassador Hotel in LA, Williams was dressing in his room when Kennedy was fatally shot. A stricken Williams, who had heard the shots on his television, rushed to the hospital where his friend lay on a bed, soaked in blood. Friends brought fresh clothes to dress the body, but had forgotten a tie. Williams took off his tie and offered it to Bobby's widow, Ethel. He explained that he was putting it on when he heard the shots. Williams sang the Battle Hymn of the Republic at the funeral at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York.
Even though it's a tragic thing to have to go on and sing after Teddy gave the eulogy and everybody is broken up. That was very hard to do, but you just say, this is my job, this is what I'm supposed to do, and you do it.
In 1975, after 3 children, Williams and Langer divorced. The next year, Ms. Langer was charged with fatally shooting her lover. Mr. Williams stood by his ex-wife, who contended that the shooting was accidental and accompanied her to court during her trial. She was found guilty of criminally negligent homicide and sentenced to 30 days in jail. In 1991, Mr. Williams married hotel executive Debbie Haas. A year later, he opened the Andy Williams Moon River Theater in Branson, Missouri, where he performed to sold-out crowds for years.
It's a little hillbilly town in Missouri in the Ozarks. I mentioned it to my wife. I'd been married 3 days, and I came down here to see Branson. And she just said, why? I just wanted to start something new, completely new. Take you down to a new town, build a theater, build a house, live in a completely different place, and just be with you and our dogs.
In 1999, British automobile commercials began using his 1960s hit, Music to Watch Girls Buy. The song was re-released and climbed the British charts, bringing him newfound international fame. In 2006, he released his first new album in about 15 years, I Don't Remember Ever Growing Up. On September 25, 2012, following a year-long battle with bladder cancer, Williams died at his home in Branson, Missouri. He was cremated, and his ashes were sprinkled into the artificial waterway at his theater in Branson. A memorial service was held a month later.
I would like to be remembered for the television that I've done and for the records that I've made and for the enjoyment that I've given to millions of people around the world. You can't ask for more than that. And those of us that are lucky enough to have made television or movies or records, long after we're gone, they're still playing our stuff, whether it's in some dim little nighttime television rerun or something, or on records. It's been a wild ride, but a very good one, and I've been very lucky.
Andy Williams' smooth voice and winsome personality thrilled audiences for over 60 years, and still, it seems, he was gone too soon. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and to like the video below.